Now, streaming exclusively on Shudder this Thursday, September 15th, is the release from IFC Midnight and Shudder. It's a collaboration, a movie called Speak No Evil, directed by Christian Tafdrup. And that's all I want to say because I have been mentally and emotionally scarred from this movie for the rest of my life. This is one of these movies that wow. And I mentioned this to Anderson. I highly recommend this movie to Anderson over on Cinematics. Hopefully he'll eventually get the chance to watch this. The premise is there's two families. They're strangers. These two sets of families are strangers. They meet on a vacation in Tuscany. One of the families is Danish. The other family is Dutch. They have a really good time in Tuscany. The Danish family, they're sort of a grass is greener on the other side. They're envious of the Dutch couple and their kid because they're thinking, oh, this Dutch couple, they look really hip and cool. They live out somewhere in the boondocks, and here we are. We're just a nice, sheltered Danish family living we're city dwellers, and we're boring. And they look to the Dutch family with a little bit of just envy, and they kind of want to be like them. So when the Dutch family send them a postcard, maybe months later, and they invite them to their home, the Danish family says, okay, let's go check it out. Let's check. Let's see where they live, and well, they go there. They traverse to this domicile, and this domicile's out in the woods, and there's a lot of nature around them. And what starts off as a seemingly beautiful and relaxing weekend turns into a nightmarish experience for I'm not gonna say it's an interaction which is very horrific. And if you like maybe the works of Michael Haneke, this is one. We're going to talk about barrier to entry here, but let's start off with Bruce Purkey on your review of Speak No Evil. What do you want to say about these two couples?
Well, yeah, barrier for entry would definitely be pretty high on this if you aren't up for something that would probably fall into disturbing category at some point in the runtime. I think this movie is very, very good. For me, it is, but it will be a hard sell for a lot of people because it is quite slow, at least in the presentation. I wasn't bored at all, though, watching it. I think that this is a movie about where it just starts, and right out of the gate, you've got politeness being a problem, not wanting to rock the boat. And then somebody else is constantly testing. And for example, is one member of one of the couples very early on is a vegetarian. You see this, it's acknowledged. Everyone sees it. Everyone knows it. And then when they all get together again, somebody says, "Oh, here's this big chunk of meat. Here you go." And they're like, "Oh, well, no, no, no." It's like, "Oh, no, you want to try this? This is gonna be great. You're gonna love it." And it just comes across as this weird. We talk about microaggressions. It's more like a test. Like, hey, come on, you can do this. It's no problem. And the people are polite. They don't want to rock the boat. And this movie slowly, like we talked about, slowly cooking the frog. This movie just keeps slowly escalating, and you know that something bad is going to happen the whole time, but you're just not sure what. This is also one of those movies where you have a lot of these moments of, why are you doing that? No, don't. What are you doing? Why are you going now and doing that? You don't have to do that. And you just feel that they're doing the wrong thing. And then it sucks you back into this world. There's a few moments in this movie like that. And then when the other shoe drops, and there is another shoe to drop in this movie, and when it does, it is, boy, I would say the last 15 to 20 minutes of this movie are harrowing and truly harrowing. I think this is a pretty fantastic movie. It might be one of those, hey, I don't ever want to rewatch this movie kind of movies. Although I did go back and rewatch the first 20 minutes of this, and then I really appreciated it because I think, unlike the one we just talked about, God's Country, where knowing it kind of maybe enriches your understanding, or knowing what's happening, not really a twist, what's happening at the end of this movie, when you rewatch it, it almost increases the dread because every step of the way you know what's happening. And it makes it even more horrifying, I think, on a rewatch. Anyway, I think it's a pretty awesome movie. I like this quite a bit.
There is a reveal in this. There's a lot of reveals, but there is a reveal in the movie. Well, first of all, the couple is the really accommodating couple. They're the I believe they're the Danes, Bjorn and Louise. So,
Yes.
so that's they're Bjorn and Louise. They have a daughter, Agnes. Yeah. So in the Dutch family, they're Patrick and Karen, and they have a son named Abel. So Patrick and Karen, they're the ones. They're the Dutch couple with the son Abel, and it's about their relationship over that weekend. But there is a scene in this movie that regarding one of these characters, and that discovery is one of the most chilling things I've seen in years. And I was absolutely scared out of my gourd. Eric Holmes, your thoughts on this movie?
One of my thoughts is that if you're trying to leave a dangerous situation and your child wants to go back for a toy, just let it go. They're going to cry fuck them. They don't know what's going on, and they're children, and you're the adult. So make a better decision. Second of all, learn to read the room sometimes. Sometimes. And you may be completely right, but sometimes if someone's acting a way and then you start getting snarky with them, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Right, exactly.
This movie started off kind of where I was bored with God's Country and went back and watched it, and I was like, oh, it all makes sense. This one, I wasn't bored with it, but I wanted to reach through the screen and just shake some sense into the people, and that because like,
sure,
the movie does a good job of kind of not really showing its hand, but it lets the audience know there's something up here. Like that's not even a spoiler. I think the filmmakers just know that like these people, you might want to they might not be dangerous. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but they're certainly not people you need to be spending a week with in a goddamn cabin. So like there's so many decisions the characters make that I'm just like, oh fucking, I was just pulling my hair out. And then like Bruce said, when it gets in the end, I was like, on one hand, the human side of me was like, oh, that's horrible, that's harrowing. But the Eric side of me was like, that's what you get. Kind of also like what Bruce said with this is kind of was that not a comedy of errors, but like a comedy of
manners, like
manners. Yeah, that's exactly what this is, but it's done kind of in a really dark way. And yeah, this movie, as we say, it goes places by the end. I think there's going to be two groups of people. There's going to be most groups of regular humans that'll watch this movie and be like,
be horrified.
Oh my God, this is terrible. I hate this. Great movie, but I hate how this is making me feel. And then there's going to be the other piece of shit humans like myself that are they have kind of I'm not gonna say anymore.
Almost like you get what you deserve, dummies.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I didn't feel good about it, but it's like, it's a fucking doll. Leave it, you idiots.
I think also on a cinephile level, this is okay. In one way, if you watch it a second time, it can, like Bruce said, it can be a little bit more horrifying because you understand the dread that's going on. But if you are a sociopath like me, you can actually rewatch Speak No Evil and actually go, wow, look at this visual composition. Look at the way this is cut and edited, or the pacing of this, or the way they actually hold the tension. They seduce you during the slow burn moments. And then when it gets to really slow burn moments and it's slow and you're realizing, please go faster, it really takes it up a notch. So you can actually, if you, my opinion, endure the first watch because it is, like Bruce, it's harrowing, but then if you actually divorce yourself from the emotions of what's going on as a piece of filmmaking, this is top tier for me.
Yeah.
But Eric, like you said, this is one of these things that I absolutely love, but I really am not encouraged by encouraging people to see Speak No Evil. Bruce, do you know where I stand regarding this? I love this film so much, but do we open our arms to fellow cinephiles and say, go see this movie?
I think we mentioned, like, if you like kind of those somewhat transgressive filmmakers, but that are making quality films, Haneke and Gaspar Noé and that kind of stuff, I think definitely give it a try. But if you're more like wanting to see Top Gun Maverick and that's kind of where you kind of your speed, probably not this movie. You're probably not up for this. I wanted to mention one last thing. I know we're going to put our ratings in here, but also I want to say this is a movie I think that could be played on a bunch of different levels. I mean, it's a social commentary on social kind of norms and manners and how we interact as people and, what's polite society and what's not. I think this also could be like literally a political allegory. It totally could be a political allegory about, certain countries putting up with certain things until they can't put up with them anymore. I think there's a lot of different ways this could be read, and I have a feeling there is some stuff that you would understand even more with this movie if you lived in that area of the world. I bet you it has a different resonance as well. But even with that gone, you can just take it as a human level. I think it works.
As a stripped down thriller, it works, right?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, like you said, we're getting to ratings. Let's get to you, Eric Holmes. By the way, after we're done recording this podcast, we're going to do a little bit of a very quick mini spoiler regarding and maybe we're going to actually uncover some of the nuggets for Speak No Evil as well. But Eric Holmes, your rating on Speak No Evil?
Yeah. I have to go 4.5.
4.5.
4.5 on this. Because
Okay.
like this movie did piss me off because of the characters just doing stupid stuff, but also like Bruce said, there's more to it, and we'll get into that in the spoilers. There's one scene in particular that's like, they got to go back, which is stupid, but then there's a thing that happens during a dance scene that's like, okay, now you're locked in. Now you have to stay or do something, and we'll get into that in spoilers. This is a good movie, even though the characters piss me off, but that's not the movie's fault. That's the movie's. I think that's what they're going for. So yeah.
Okay, Bruce, your rating on Speak No Evil?
I watched it a couple weeks ago, and it was like about 4.5 stars, and it's kind of stuck with me and kind of just seeped and cooked in my brain. And I'm 5 stars on this.
Yeah, I gave this movie 4.5 stars. I was agreeing with Eric on. I think I put it on Letterboxd. I might have not. I think I put 4.5 on Letterboxd, but 24 hours later, I just want to get back to it and watch it on a filmic level, just see how each scene is broken down. I just think this is a masterpiece. For me, it's a 5-star film. It's a 5-star film, definitely. So we'll get to spoilers regarding this. And obviously, the lowest rating is Eric Holmes, who gave it 4.5. So we're telling you guys, Speak No Evil is a pretty awesome movie. Now, Eric, what's the big caveat to listeners of the show? Do not see Speak No Evil if
you've seen Snow Angels and you never want to watch Snow Angels again. This is not at all the same plot. It goes places kind of similar to Snow Angels. And actually, I listened to the latest cinematics episode. And
what's that? What? I never heard of that pod. What is it?
It's a movie podcast. It's a really good one. Some great guys named Greg and Anderson are on it.
Thank you.
But you were telling Anderson that Speak No Evil is not a horror movie, and and with this on Shudder, I think that's.
I said it was a date movie. I think I said it was a date movie. Well.
Date, yeah. Total date movie. But I think it is important to point out that this isn't a horror movie, at least not a traditional, I don't think someone would come out of this saying, I just watched a horror movie, even though some of the stuff that happens this is not monster slasher sort of thing. So if you're expecting that, no.
Okay.
But yeah, you were bang on when you were talking with Anderson on cinematics about this.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Yep. I don't know, the horror thing. I don't know. It's one of those things where, tell us what you think. Is this a horror movie or not? Should it be, because Shudder has a horror lineup? Also, this is not a spoiler, but folks, little caveats here. But if you are a fan of rocks, this movie would really work for you too. So just
it
FYI,
does rock.
It does. Does it rock, Bruce? Does it rock?
Rock me, Amadeus. Yes, it does.
But after this episode, Bruce Purkey will be outside his porch. He'll be opening some beer, and he's gonna have a couple of rocks, and he's just gonna lightly do these. He likes to do the skipping rock things in the local watering hole. So it's nice.
I will tell you that by the end, I was speechless.
You were okay, very speechless. And as Bruce is yelling out into the ether,